I'm gonna eat y'all.
Alright, welcome back to Did They Game It? I'm your host, Michael. My guest today is Sean.
How's it going?
And we're going to be covering Jaws, the film, and Jaws Unleashed on the PlayStation 2. Sean, so you have feelings about the movie?
I do. I do have pretty strong feelings about the movie because it's my favorite movie. So, yeah, it's the best film ever.
And
Fight me.
And today's the first time you brought in the game.
Yeah, I was kind of excited to be able to do that. I have some video games, but they're a lot of like sports-based games and stuff, so it's nothing like too original. But I did have one that has a movie tie-in, and so it was cool to be able to share that with you, even though it's not a great game.
So, and you went to the Jaws exhibit the other day?
Yeah, I actually just got back from LA, had a little vacation planned, and I went to. I always mess up the name of the place, but I think it's the Academy Museum of Film. It's something like that, but basically, yeah, they had a Jaws movie exhibit. It was going on last year because last year was the 50th anniversary of the movie. Here I am. I know way too much about Jaws. They only had it for like a year, so I was like, I gotta get in, see it before it's gone, and I was very much impressed. Definitely not disappointed.
Yeah, I've seen Jaws basically all of it pieced together, but I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it completely before today. And yeah, I got a new appreciation of it. But like I was saying, I remember why I don't watch it a lot, and it's because the townspeople are infuriating. Like, the shark isn't the bad guy, like you said.
I watched it the first time as a little kid, so just kind of fell in love with it that way. But the townspeople and the mayor in particular are the villain of the movie. I don't think that's a shock, especially if anyone's really watched the movie or studied it and analyzed it. They are the one nitpick that happens with this, where you're like, how are you, a little boy got killed, and you're just like, yeah, keep the beaches open.
Well, yeah, and the shark's gonna shark. Like, it's gonna go around and feed, and it's like, the shark's really not the bad guy. It's, like, because I thought before mostly the city council, and then I remembered, oh yeah, like, the whole town is full of idiots.
We were going through it. The shark's not the villain. Brody, Hooper, Quint, not the villains. It's really the townspeople and Mayor Vaughn.
Well, and that's another thing that I really appreciate watching it now is that Quint is a character that I don't think gets talked about enough in cinema as one of the best characters ever.
I don't want to be biased, and you know my feelings, but I'm going to agree 1,000% with you on that because Robert Shaw did an incredible job with portraying Quint. I know the source material is the book. I've read the book. The book is actually one of the few books or one of the few situations where the book is actually worse than the movie, in my opinion. And that's because if you've ever read the book, none of the characters are likable, or you don't even want to root for any of them. They're all terrible, especially Quint's character. He is really gnarly in the book with some of the ways he does things. So how he is in the movie, he's definitely off-putting, but there's like a charm to him as well. And once you kind of understand his motivations and realizing like he knows what he's doing, just trust me, you kind of see how he gains some common ground with some of the other characters throughout the movie.
Well, and it doesn't happen a lot where a character has two very memorable monologues, because he has two where he just steals the movie, like the very beginning when he comes up and does the chalkboard thing.
Yeah.
That's a great monologue. And then later
Right.
on where he talks about the sinking, it's like he had two separate memorable monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the doll's eye, everybody knows that.
You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eye.
Yeah, when he first is introduced at the town hall meeting.
Yeah.
And it's like, who is this guy? And then he just bursts into everything. And then, yeah, later on when they're on the boat and they're recanting, different stories of scars and pains that they've overcome, and then he really gets serious, and you kind of understand his not necessarily motivations for shark hunting, but his vulnerabilities as a person.
Yeah, it's really enthralling, honestly. Like, because just watching that monologue on the boat, like, I was just staring at it the whole time. And it's kind of a long monologue, too.
Yeah, it's like 9 minutes, I think.
Is it? Doesn't feel like that, but you realize after, like, man, he went on for a long time just by himself, like, carrying that whole scene.
Yeah, and like you said, the pacing is really good.
Yeah.
It's really like there's the first part of the movie before the three are on the ship, on the Orca, and then there's the second half of the movie that's that. I know it's divided into 3 acts. Those are like two distinct styles or ways the movie was filmed.
Well, and it's just, it's over 2 hours, but it is the fact that it's like, I don't think anything from it should be cut, because even the scenes that don't really have a lot of meaning or anything, it still builds up and shows the power of what they're going up against.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, 1,000%. And I'm glad you appreciate the movie and that you were able to see it start to finish in one go. I was really surprised to hear that this is your first time ever doing that.
Because I think all the other times it was always on TV or something, and I was like kind of walking in and out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely missed parts, like Brody being from New York. Like, I didn't catch that at first, and then he came there to be the chief.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never caught that before, and I didn't realize how long they were on the boat, because I guess I must have left during those parts. But yeah, also just for the time in the 70s to film so much of that on water, because the first film to be filmed out in the open ocean like that.
Definitely an ambitious project. Don't know why Universal let a 26-year-old director do it, but they trusted him with it. The shoot lasted a lot longer, like 3 times longer than they anticipated. Was way over budget, but I think it paid off in the end.
Yeah, and it just looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many scenes where it's like nothing really happened in it, but just like the one where Quint's just standing there and it shows it like him and the sun setting behind him and stuff. It just looked great.
I agree wholeheartedly. Everything about it, story-wise, maybe a little shaky, especially with the townspeople, but as far as the characters, how they grew and you saw their motivations and then kind of change over the movie time, the cinematography and everything. Yeah, incredible.
And what's in the water there in Amity? Because why are the parents like 60 and 70 years old? Because I remember that as a kid, the boy who gets eaten, and it shows the mom who's probably 50s, and the dad behind her who looks like he's about 65.
Yeah.
And like, I thought that was the grandparents when I had watched it before, when I was younger. And then now seeing that they're the parents, and then it happened again.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like some of the extras on the beach, they look a lot older than they're like, you probably shouldn't have kids this young. It's kind of a stretch.
Yeah, and you're giving them lines and making them a focal point at those moments. It's like, you couldn't have got somebody in their 30s or... Because it's funny to watch, like when the mayor asks them to get in the water.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, he's just asking this older couple. Then all of a sudden they grab 3 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why they had to keep adding that in.
I know they used a lot of extras and people who are locals, so I think they were just kind of at the mercy of what they had on Martha's Vineyard.
But yeah, like, no, I love the movie. I was just... The reason I don't rewatch it is because the townspeople are just infuriating. Like, I don't consider Jaws a horror movie, but the townspeople definitely act like people in a horror movie, where they're doing things that make no sense, like they're unreasonable. Do you consider it a horror movie?
I don't know, because I don't really like horror movies, but it is always listed as a horror movie. It's definitely a thriller and suspenseful. I would say even semi-adventure. Like when they're on the boat, it is... You feel like you're out there just on a fishing trip with the boys,
Yeah, see, I consider it a suspense thriller,
Mm-hmm.
but I still don't think it's a horror movie.
I mean, there's a few gore parts and a couple of jump scares, but it never swore me off from, like, swimming. But I know some people it did. It really had a a strong impact on people.
Now, you were talking about reading the book,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of extra stuff that you didn't think should have been in the movie or didn't need to.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess one of the major plot points that could maybe have helped with the townspeople and mayor's motivations was, I don't know if you ever want to read the book, gonna spoil it a little, but there's like a mob plot where the mafia is like controlling some of the goings on in Amity, and so the mayor like needs to appease them, which is why he would want to keep the beaches open and get the tourists in so they can spend money in the town and stuff.
And that would make a lot more sense. Like, because the motivation, I get you're trying to bring in the tourism and the money and stuff, but the mob angle where it's like, hey, I might die if I don't do this would definitely be more of a motivator. So
Right.
I could see that one getting added. It's fine without it. But that's one of the plots that you told me about that it's like I could see that helping a little bit maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only thing is like, okay, shark blows up. Now what happens with the mob kind of thing? That wouldn't get resolved necessarily.
Yeah.
I guess the whole idea that Brody moved away from New York to go to Amity because it's a little, he can make an impact.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess then you could take it a whole different direction where it becomes a mob movie and this guy's like, I can't get away from him, you know? No matter where I go, there's always somebody who has a greater pull and say.
Well, and then the Hooper storyline.
This is the one where I'm so glad they did not include it in the movie because in the book, Hooper, who is like the shark expert, has an affair with Chief Brody's wife. It felt like you know how like there's those novels now that are geared toward fantasies and stuff like that. It felt like more like that kind of thing rather than this really serves any real purpose. It really just makes you hate Hooper and Mrs. Brody, where in the movie they're both likable characters.
Yeah, and did it like
And Chief Brody in the book is someone who you hate anyway, so you're like, I don't want this guy to get cheated on, but like still, I don't think anyone's coming out on top on any of this.
So did it serve like any purpose in the book to like any sort of tension between Brody and Hooper or
Kind of, but there wasn't any of that in the movie. Like you didn't need that, right? There was more tension between like Quint and Hooper, but that was because like their ideals, right? And like their personalities, right? Quint is very much like working class, someone who kind of does things his way, and Hooper comes from more of an academic background, you know, thinking about things in a scientific way. And, you know, you realize that both of their methods and ways that they try to solve the problem of the shark actually fail. And so it wasn't like one side was right or incorrect, but ultimately you needed to think like, or have a different way of approaching this problem.
well, and like they said, the Hooper Quint thing was probably also fueled by the actors with Robert Shaw who played Quint and Richard Dreyfuss who played Hooper hated each other offset.
Yeah, a lot of tension between those two. I know there's like a theatrical play that goes into that. There's a lot of interviews and stuff. Ultimately, I think they were able to work through it. But yeah, you can kind of tell the tension builds, and it does work in the movie too.
I feel like you could kind of see it in a couple scenes where it's like, that seemed a little extra, which, I mean, is good for the film, but it's like, I could see that if you don't like somebody, giving a little extra to it.
Right. And you almost wonder if like Robert Shaw did that deliberately beforehand to have their characters kind of have that tension.
Also, I've just heard Richard Dreyfuss is annoying.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, Bill Murray threw an ashtray at his head.
Yeah, he seems like the annoying type, so.
Yeah. Even with his characters.
Yeah.
And this is one of those occasions where you think the movie was better than the book?
In my opinion, completely. I don't know. The book, it was just different. I read it first in 7th grade. It probably was something I shouldn't have read in 7th grade, considering that the affair is kind of graphic and everything like that. But that wasn't, the reason I hated the book. I just feel like it was so different, and it was more the characters, right? Like, because you want Chief Brody to succeed, you like him. Quint's even likable. He's kind of more of an anti-hero in the movie, and Hooper, right? So like having those first impressions was like, okay, this is how I'm hoping they're portrayed in the novel, and they were not. And in the novel, you're actually was like, I just want the shark to eat everyone and win because they're so annoying.
So, who's your favorite character from the movie?
Oh, this is a tough one. I do love Quint, but I do also love Chief Brody.
Yeah, I think I got to go Quint.
Yeah.
What about the book? I mean, if you had to pick a
The shark.
character.
The shark. You're rooting for the shark.
I do love in the movie though that they keep showing examples of like the power of the shark and how it like keeps built, and they're doing it in like a natural way where it's not really over the top. Like when they're on the ship talking about how no way he does that, like no way he can do, and then you see it slowly where it's like, is the shark gonna do? And then it does, but it does it in like a slow. I don't know. It's just a cool way to show like the danger that you're dealing with without making it so in your face. Like, to show it just like rip through a boat or yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the whole obviously the production was very much plagued by issues, and the shark was supposed to be shown a lot more. And it's definitely a blessing that it wasn't, because then you got the barrel element, and that's I think one of the things you're alluding to, right? Where Quint kind of talks about how in the past when he's been able to hunt some of these larger sharks that he shoots the barrels into them, and usually if they have two barrels attached to them, they cannot stay down underwater. They can't go away. So he's always able to track them and kind of be able to hunt them. But in this case, right, this shark is different. It's a lot stronger, and it's taking an extra barrel, which those barrels, I mean, they're full of air. It seems like, oh yeah, you could just keep those down. No, like that's a lot of, I don't know exactly the right term, but the buoyancy is pretty buoyant. So for a biological animal to do that is pretty impressive. And it does like add to that. This shark is huge, right? It pulls the boat backwards. And so you just get the power and the immenseness that this is not a regular shark.
Yeah, real blessing in disguise that happened, because it just would not be the same film without the way they had to film it and tell the story, like without the shark appearing.
Exactly.
Because just everything they did was so cool to just see like the barrels disappear and stuff instead of seeing the shark like dive under with them.
Right. Less is more kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You let your imagination fill in those gaps.
Yeah, it just built up that suspense and just like drawing it out a little longer, where it's like, yeah, like you said, you feel like you're on the boat waiting to see what happens.
Exactly. Lessons to movie people out there. Want to build suspense. Less is more. I think there was only the screen time for the shark is like less than 10 minutes, I think, total. So
yeah, just study Jaws if you want to see suspense, because that was really good. And I guess that's what I missed in it in my like the other times I watched it, from not paying too much attention.
And you can watch it that way, right? Like you can watch by scenes or jump in at certain parts. Like if you hate the townspeople's part, skip an hour in and just watch from the boat to the end. That's great in itself. But yeah, to get the full effect of everything, to understand all the exposition and nuance, you just gotta watch from start to finish.
Yeah, I liked it a lot more than I remember.
That's good.
Except for the townspeople.
Fair enough. They suck.
Yeah, that was my. Like, I'm glad you've seen it a bunch, because my complaining during it and yelling at the townspeople, it really got me engaged though, because I was and the way they build up the loss of when like the little boy's killed and stuff like that, and that tension. It's like that was really good to have that, where it's like you can see the effect it's having on the people around. So yeah, everything was. I mean, it seems so calculated compared to what we know, that it's like, nah, everything just kept going wrong.
Right. Yeah. That it's incredible that with all the issues and being over budget and things not working and all the other obstacles they faced, that they were able to pull it together and make something as lasting and, you know, just timeless as what we got.
Well, and the fact with the film too that it survived being because I just imagine I don't know a whole lot about film, but with the sea salt and everything from the water, like you would think that that would be pretty harsh on the film.
Yeah. I know they use some underwater camera techniques and things like that, some recording, sound recording techniques. So lots of innovation also went into behind the scenes stuff rather than just what you see as far as finished product.
So, and this was your favorite as a kid too, right?
As soon as I saw it, it became my favorite. I saw it very young, like in first grade, probably too young for someone to see it, but I had a friend who was really into sharks, and so I was like, okay, well, if you like sharks, sharks must be the coolest thing in the world, right? And then I just kind of went down that rabbit hole. I was one of those kids, always bringing the shark books and stuff to school and things like that. And then, yeah, I had a sleepover, and my mom was like, oh, you guys should watch Jaws. And we did. Scared the shit out of him, apparently. And me, I just, like, couldn't get enough of it. So that's, sorry, Cole, if you're listening.
Anything else you want to say about the movie? It's your...
No, man. No, I'm good.
So when you got the game, were you excited for it, or how did that work out?
So it was kind of interesting. I got the game, and I had not really gotten, like I said, I was kind of playing more sports games and stuff. So this was at a time, like, I think I just, like, had my first, like, I was nearing the end of my first, like, real job, you know, like, high school job. And I just was like, I'm going to go spend some of my paycheck money. And I found it, and I was like, okay, I got to get this, because favorite movie. And basically, it is like, it's like GTA if you're a shark. You just go around and well, at least the shark from Jaws. So you go and just cause mayhem and destruction on Amity Island.
Yeah, I played it, and the controlling the camera pissed me off as much as the townspeople from the movie. That was the main problem for me. When stuff would drop into the water and all the bubbles would come up, which makes sense, it blows your vision. But when you can't control the camera well either, it was just kind of too much. I liked the game actually, but it was just kind of frustrating with that camera angle stuff.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. It's like, obviously it was a PS2 game, so you almost wonder, like, maybe they were taking, like, kind of an innovative chance on things, because obviously being the depth of the ocean, you have to account for it too. Not just staying at the surface, but diving down, and the way the camera interacts and works. The game is very finicky. The controls, turning around, and the camera not being able to follow, keep up with you, is annoying, and does cause some problems when you're trying to do some challenges or game missions. It definitely has its flaws.
Well, and I like how you get facts about the movie on the bottom, too, that goes by on the loading ticker.
Yeah.
The collectibles, like when you're grabbing license plates and human skeletons and stuff.
Yeah. They try to make it a fun game experience. I just think maybe for the PS2, they ran into some limitations. And then also just story material. It's pretty bizarre. It's pretty out there.
Well, yeah, for what it was, too, like hunting down lifeguards.
Yeah.
Was one, and then, what was that one? She Bangs? Where you're supposed to grab the female swimmer and slam her into a buoy.
Yeah, you do a lot of gratuitous violence activities just because, I mean, I guess you're a shark and you're the shark from Jaws, so you're just trying to mimic things that the shark from Jaws does or can do.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the cutscenes where they do from afar, so they didn't have to put in the lip movement.
Right. Definitely on a budget.
Yeah, and then when the game starts, like, the second level was where you have to kill Shamu.
Yeah, you go to the aquarium. There's an aquarium on Amity Island, so this is where maybe it takes elements from the third movie of Jaws, because that one was at a SeaWorld. You have to, like, end up killing the orca.
Yeah, and I think you, like, rip it in half.
Yeah, it's pretty grotesque and over the top.
That's what I thought. That cutscene was actually kind of brutal when I was watching it. And I think my favorite part so far was when you're captured, and it say like use the ID card to get out of the
Yeah.
tank, and you have to grab a scientist
Just-
and swim them up to the computer to get out.
That one's almost like elements of Deep Blue Sea or something.
That part made me laugh while I was playing it because I thought, okay, so this is going to be the later versions of the shark
Yeah,
where it's too intelligent.
yeah. It takes every liberty and some.
Yeah, I think like some of the problem was too the direction because it wasn't always clear where you had to go or what you had to do. And it's fine like the exploring part to find that. But when you're in the ocean, there's not a whole lot going on.
Yeah. And again, I think it was limitations of the PS2 because it's kind of open world, but then you get like to some areas and it's like, oh, exiting this. Like, do you want to go? You're exiting this bay. Do you want to go to the open ocean and stuff? And really, then there's just like little side missions you find along the way, or sometimes there's like a main mission to the main storyline. But yeah, it's really difficult to locate on your heads up display because I don't know. There's only really like the north part of the compass.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Just the north direction one. And then just a little bunch of little squares that you just go and investigate.
Yeah, I kind of had a hard time using the compass at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
The one you have is a greatest hits, so apparently it sold pretty well, I guess.
I have no idea. I remember seeing it like in the bargain bin of a GameStop or something and being like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. Actually, I think it was Circuit City.
Oh.
Yeah, this was that long ago.
Well, I know those were $20 when they came, like the greatest hits were always $20.
Okay.
So at least you didn't pay over 20 for it.
Yeah, I couldn't even remember what I paid for it.
How far did you get when you first played it?
I think I got past the second level, and then you were like the open ocean, but that's about it. It's fun for a minute, and then it just gets so repetitive. Like even those mini missions, right, where it's like, oh, kill 3 lifeguards before they get back to shore, and then you beat that, and then it's like, how about try killing 4? And you're like, okay, and then do you think you can get 5? Huh? And you're like, sure. So you do that, and then you're like, complete. Awesome.
See, I think if I like rented it when it came out for an evening or something, or like for a sleepover, it'd probably be funny. Like it'd probably be okay because I remember if we rent or got like a game that wasn't that fun, we would just kind of make up dialogue for it.
Right.
Because I remember we had some like race game or ATV game where you like explore kind of an open world, and me and my friend, like I would do like the family in the SUV trying to get away from him,
Oh,
and I would
nice.
just make up dialogue for that. So I could see that game being like it's entertaining enough where you're not upset that you rented it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it is fun to be like, oh shit, like how much destruction can I cause, and like how many boats can I destroy and explode, or like initially when you're playing the first level, you can like destroy like structures on the, the shore of Amity and stuff. The over the topness does make up for the fact that it is kind of lacking in some other areas with some of the missions and activities.
Yeah, I didn't hate it or anything, but I could see. I was gonna ask you if I could hold on to it to beat it, but then I thought I don't really.
Do I want to do this?
Yeah,
I mean, you're more than welcome to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to play it, but
it's not because it's a terrible game, but I think it's a game where it's like I might play it some more today, and then I'll get bored and not finish it anyway.
right.
But yeah, like I said, if I rented it, I wouldn't be upset or anything by it. If I paid $50 for it back when it came out, no, I would have been upset.
I completely agree with you on that. It's not a first price kind of game that you get. You get this like second hand, or like you said, at a value price, or you rent it for a little bit and you have a little fun with it, but then it basically just goes on the shelf.
Yeah, it could be a sleepover game. I could see me like as a teenager laughing at it with a friend when you try to eat the people and sometimes they go flying out of the water accidentally.
Oh, it is so over the top. And I don't know if that's just the glitchiness of the game or if they designed it that way.
I was kind of a little confused on that too because I tried to bite somebody and then all of a sudden they just go flying.
Yeah, you're like, okay. Or the fact that you can like go on the shore for like 10 seconds. It's wild.
Yeah, because I was gonna buy. I'd say it's like a $10 or $12 game.
I would say that's a decent price. You wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, because like I said, I think you could be entertained
Yeah.
for a day or something with it. I have no urge to try to finish it. Well, and also I think maybe it's because I had to fight to get it to work.
That
Because
too.
because I was having some issues with my PlayStation that I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cleaned it out or blew the compressed air into it and checked it the next day, didn't work, checked it the next day, didn't work. And I was about to give up on it and ask to borrow yours, and then finally it worked for some reason. Which I know I told you that story before, but this PlayStation was broke for like 20 years
Wow.
because I left it at my mom's, and then I was going to fix the PlayStation 3 and I saw this and thought, maybe I'll try to fix it, whatever. Because I had to send that into PlayStation 2 times.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and I think it broke in like 2005. It finally wasn't fixable. So I took it to the apartment and was going to check it out. And then I thought, whatever, I'll plug it in, see if it starts. Started right up. And then was playing games fine. So I don't know why sitting for nearly 20 years got it like where it just started working
Just
again.
needed to reset everything, huh? Just
And it-
settle it all in.
And it kept the time too.
That's awesome.
Like the time was only hours off.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like, yeah.
And that happens sometime, like if the power went out, you know?
Maybe it was like a day off or something, but it still knew like what year it was. It was weird because I thought so the battery just kept ticking in there the whole time. That's my side story for the day.
That's cool. Hey, at least it works, man. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to have to buy another one
No, definitely not.
or fix the PlayStation 3. I still got to fix that.
Gotta have PS3. That's considered like the best system. One of them, anyways.
Yeah. So, any thoughts on anything else?
The movie or the game?
Either one. It's-
Obviously the movie's great. Check it out if you've never watched it. Watch it from start to finish, and then you can watch it from scene by scene. Don't read the book unless you just like to be a contrarian about stuff. It's not a great read. I didn't see what all the hubbub was about because everyone was like, yeah, this is going to make a great movie, I guess. But it did. And then the game, like you said, it's a sleepover game. It's chill, unless you really are dedicated, probably going to persist with because it is very repetitive, kind of lacking in some things. You will have fun with it for at least a few hours. And then if you have a friend over, you guys just can find humor and joy in things. You'd probably make it fun.
If somebody said they hated the game or they said they loved it, I wouldn't argue with them either way.
Yeah.
All right, so did they game it?
The only reason I say no is just because obviously it takes place during like a more modern time than the original movie. And I know it's Jaws Unleashed, so it's not even really Jaws 1, 2, 3 or The Revenge. But the only elements from the movie that are there are that there's this really supernatural shark in Amity Island causing chaos and mayhem for the people of Amity. That's about it. It takes the like SeaWorld theme park aquarium aspect from the third one a little bit. But that's it. I would say nothing else is really from any of the movies or anything. So game it as far as just the idea of a shark that causes chaos, sure. But if this was not labeled Jaws, this could have been any idea of that.
That's why I'm going to say they didn't game it. Just because if you told me that that was some other game, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I guess except for the cutscenes,
Sure.
but they're very short and it's just like you hear a name from the movie.
Well, here's another thing, too. I mean, they had a Baywatch cutscene.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you were out of the room at the time when I was playing it, but basically it's that lifeguard mission, and right before, as you start it, it has, like, the scene, like the typical Baywatch thing where the lifeguard is running in slow motion down towards the camera, and you're like, okay.
Was it a real life scene or was it still...
No, it was a video game.
Okay. I didn't see it, so I was just thinking that'd be kind of funny.
Baywatch Jaws crossover.
I would have actually laughed if they just showed like a real scene cut in there.
That would have been hilarious. They should have.
Well, so they didn't game it.
Didn't game it.
Decided.
I don't know. I'd give it like maybe two and a half barrels.
2.5 barrels? Of how many barrels?
5 barrels.
Uh, yeah, that's a fair. I give it 2.5, 3.
Okay.
And the movie,
The movie's 5.
yeah,
Might even be 6.
movie's 5 barrels. All right, anything else? It's your movie.
I don't know. I mean, go watch it. If you haven't watched it, if you have watched it, go watch it. Just keep watching Jaws. It's great. There's nothing about it that's bad.
All right, well, that's Sean's favorite movie, not his favorite game. Join me next week when I cover Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo on the PlayStation 5. Until then.
I'll just make some soothing ocean sounds for you.